All right, back to the cage to introduce our fighters. Here is Cody Gwynn.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for your next professional fight here tonight. This fight will be at a catch weight of 175 pounds. At this time, please welcome to the cage, fighting out of the Hogs red corner, John Cook.
John the Machine Cook from Team Fast in Whitesburg, Kentucky, 4-5 in his career. Casey mentioned the stiff competition, which includes Stoney Hale, Sean Asher, Craig Johnson, has wins over Scott Hope, Jerry Burns, and Michael Cockerham. John the Machine Cook taking on Alan Stewart. And you mentioned some of the guys that Alan Stewart in that KMAA camp he's had a chance to work with, including Ovin St. Peru.
Yes.
And, I mean, Eric Trainer, Joey Zonar, man, they're just the names in there are unbelievable.
Yeah, undoubtedly. And, you know, he's a student of the game. He always comes out to improve. Now, I was speaking with him earlier, and he said that he did have Alan Stewart at least had a really tough weight cut. You know, but of course he was able to get back in and rehydrate, do what he has to do. You know, whether that will make a hold a bearing over this bout is unknown. But you know, I mean, I know Alan Stewart to have a heart of the warrior, and I know that of John Cook. And you know, you look at some of the opponents he's fought and beat. You know, Cook actually beat Jerry Burns. Jerry Burns is a 250-pounder. You know, that was in heavyweight. Michael Cockerham, he's a big old boy, 6'4", 6'5". Scott Hope, he's a legend up in Kentucky, old school Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, who really put a pounding on John Cook in the first couple of rounds, and then Cook comes back and actually stops Scott Hope. So, you know, you've seen a lot of the growth of Cook, and it's all culminated here against a very hot prodigy in Alan Stewart, the local favorite. Again, I'm very excited to see this. I'm a fan of both competitors.
The last win for John Cook came November 22nd, 2014. That was over Kelly Pennington, and that was via strikes in the first round at only 44 seconds. Cook had a really good amateur career, as we mentioned. Alan Stewart, undefeated as a pro, only had one loss as an amateur as well. He was good at 5-1. And the wins as a pro for Alan Stewart, Steve Thomas, Josh Brown, and Mendon McKeon. That was at Valor Fights 23 by strikes.
Well, not to mention, I'm excited about this because you've got the coal miner, former coal miner, versus a corrections officer. It's career day here at Valor Fights.
And somehow the heavy hands of both of them are going to come into play, which they've had to use for different things, you know?
Yeah.
All right, so John Cook steps into the cage to introduce John's opponent. Let's go back to the cage. Here is Cody Gwynn.
Now, please welcome his opponent, fighting under the OEB blue corner, Alan Stewart.
Here comes Alan Stewart, undefeated, 3-0 out of the KMAA camp in Knoxville. The 29-year-old at 6'1". He weighed in at 181.1 in this catchweight bout at 175, and it's presented by Buckethead Tavern here at Valor Fights 27 at the International in Knoxville. We are packed, sold out. Now let's take a look at the tail of the tape between John Cook and Alan Stewart. John Cook is 4-5, Alan Stewart at 3-0 as a professional. John Cook, 2 years younger than Alan Stewart. Height exactly the same at 6 feet tall, and you see that Stewart for this catchweight bout at 175 weighed in above that at 181, while Cook stayed firm at 175. Casey, your final thoughts on these two?
Again, such a very interesting matchup. As you saw, their height's the same, their age is relatively the same. Their weight was off just by a few pounds, and their records are quite different, though, you know, John Cook holds more wins. He does hold a few losses, and so, you know, again, I just think it makes for a very good matchup. And And that's what matters around here is when you get a good matchup that's going to entertain the fans, and I believe that's what Tim Loy has done here with this bout.
11 is the number, Casey. 11 fighters from Knoxville on our card here at Valor Fights 27. 11 straight wins for the blue corner tonight.
I noticed that.
And it's just a weird thing. You don't always see that. But Alan Stewart has the blue corner tonight. But this should be a lot of fun here in a catchweight 175 bout. And again, boy, what a great crowd here tonight at the International.
Undoubtedly.
You see Cutman Mark Laws doing his thing. And I think Alan Stewart is ready to go, but Mark's doing his work. And the final check from our referee. Jimmy Neely actually will be our referee for this bout. And here comes Alan Stewart. All right, for our official fighter introductions to the cage, and Cody Gwynn.
Ladies and gentlemen, your next bout will be in the professional catchweight of 175 pounds, brought to you by Buckethead Tavern. And when the action begins, your referee in charge of this bout is Jimmy Neely. Introducing first, fighting out of the Hogs red corner. He enters the cage tonight with a record 4 wins with 5 defeats. He went in 175 pounds, fighting in a team fast in Whitesburg, Kentucky, John the Machine Cook. Standing across cage tonight, fighting out of the OEB blue corner, undefeated with a record of 3 wins with no defeats. He weighed in 181 pounds, fighting out of KMAA in Knoxville, Tennessee, Alan Stewart.
Both fighters in red trunks. It's John the Machine Cook with the black gloves and Alan Stewart with the green gloves. Interesting on Alan Stewart, all but 2 of his fights have been won. If his wins have been via submission. Had a strike victory in his last bout.
Here we go. Big left hook right out of the gate by John Cook. Big shots. Here goes Alan Stewart with the takedown. So Alan Stewart doing what he has to do right here. Stewart known to have a good guard. Cook halfway past, close into that half guard position. Very strong is John Cook. I mentioned before that one of my fighters, Stoney Hale, faced Cook recently in about a couple of months back. And man, he remarked about how powerful Cook was, and really he's on the prowl here right now.
Stewart.
Got a little cut over the left eye there of Cook, but he's undaunted.
Wow, that looks like a significant cut.
Yeah, that's sick, but look at him. He doesn't care.
Will it be a factor, though? It's above the eye.
It could be.
And Stewart lands with a right and kicks towards the head.
Stewart with those hands down, he needs to keep them up. Oh, that was a big shot. That was a big shot by Stewart there. Now he's deep under the hooks, under the hips of John Cook.
Takedown by Stewart.
Oh, yeah. Crimson mask there.
A lot of blood.
Of John Cook.
And Stewart with an advantage. Now he goes full mount, and actually where we go.
Oh, here we go. I think they're going to take a look at that cut.
Yeah. Wow.
That's pretty deep.
And our white mat here at Valor Fights is turning red quickly.
Wow, that's pretty sick. That's hard to tell.
And there's swelling there.
I think they're going to wave that one off. But, I mean, it's not bleeding that bad. That's the thing. It may not be that deep, but
it's underneath the eyebrow. It's like over the eyelid. It's a tough spot, but you're right. It's not like it's gushing. But
it's not gushing. It looks pretty bad. It's pretty deep. They may call it, just because it, could cause more damage if it gets hit again.
And there is a little bit of swelling.
But they're going to let it.
Well.
They're going to bring him back down. And of course, if I'm in the corner of Alan Stewart, I'm going to say, obviously can't get your fingers down in it and get your hands, but
And Stewart's ready to go, but Jimmy Neely.
Here we
saying,
go.
"Hang
Watch
on."
that guillotine. Pulling on that guillotine. This could be it. It's deep.
Stewart cranking it.
That's not the way to go. That's not the way to go if you want out of that guillotine.
Is it tougher to hold on to that when your
Here we
opponent
go.
has blood?
Looking for that pass is Jon Stewart. Here we go, looking for a guillotine of his own. I don't know if I would have pulled that guillotine if I were John Cook.
Cook on the
But
bottom.
I could be wrong. It's pretty deep here.
And Stewart
Cook
slides
on
out.
top now. Stewart looking for a sub of his own. How competitive here, and he caught
Tap.
him. That's
There it
it,
is.
the armbar.
Alan Stewart stays undefeated. 4-0.
I told you it would be a good fight, man. That was a ton of energy in a few short seconds.
Impressive. And the cut, not a factor in the end, but boy, it was an impressive start for Alan Stewart. He finished it off with the armbar for the victory. Unbelievable. Take a look at the replay. Take us through it, Casey.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Alan Stewart looking to capitalize on John Cook's leaving his arm hanging. You know, he just left it kind of hanging in there. He's looking for the punches, got a little overzealous, and got caught for his efforts.
And Cook being worked on. That's a deep, deep cut, but it's the guy to have working on your cuts right there. Got a lot more on the way. Knew you'd enjoy this one. And it'll be a win for Alan Stewart and KMAA. And Knoxville continues to roll here tonight at home. Knoxville Fighters.
Yeah, huge props to Alan Stewart for keeping his composure, and you know, to John Cook for delivery, man. He came out with a ton of steam behind him, and it was it made a very entertaining fight, in my opinion.
On the way, we got a bantamweight bout and much, much more.
Ladies
here
and
tonight.
gentlemen, referee Jimmy Neely has called a stop to this fight. 2 minutes, 15 seconds into the first round. Your winner by submission via an armbar, Alan Stewart.
Alan Stewart, your winner, now 4-0 in his MMA career. And Cody Quinn, we'll talk to him in just a second in the cage. Here at Valor Fights 27 at the International
Alan,
in
I'll talk to you
Knoxville.
real quick. First things first, we'll talk a little bit about yesterday. You had a real hard weight cut coming in. Did how you felt yesterday affect your performance any tonight?
First and foremost, we're going to give glory, honor, and praise to Lord and Jesus, Savior, Jesus Christ. Sorry, I can't talk right now. Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Doesn't say some things, it says all things. The weight cut was really hard. Coach says to always be prepared for what we want to do. Obviously, I wasn't prepared for a 175 fight. I made it to 180. Just my body just shut down. And when I got to 180, I couldn't do the rest. I want to thank him for continuing to go ahead and take the fight. Just got to get to the drawing board and get it right. Absolutely get it right, because that's not acceptable to not make weight.
Now, you came in here tonight. You tagged him early, opened up a nice cut over his eye. After that, you guys kind of flopped around on the ground. You ended up in a real slick armbar. Was that the game plan, to kind of put him on his back, or just see what he did? Like, what was the game plan for the fight?
Pretty much just, grind him out, get him on the ground. We thought we were better on the ground than he was. I was kind of weary because I'm tired. Weight cut, I thought he was going to get to me. He hit me with a big shot, and I stumbled a couple steps and fell against the cage, and I was like, crap, this dude hits hard. So then I immediately shot for the takedown. He stuffed it. I don't know what I hit him with to open him up. When we got up, I just seen it was cut, and I was like, I'm getting that cut. So that's all.
You're undefeated still. Don't look now, another MMA fighter, undefeated, making a run here. What's next for you? When are you looking to take another fight? What weight are you looking to fight at next time?
Whatever that man says. Just got to be prepared. That's all. That's the most important thing is get back and be prepared and watch my walking weight and where I need to be. and stay there and be professional. That's it. But as far as what's next, whatever he says, I don't care if it's 170, 185, 205, heavyweight. I don't care. Whatever he says, whoever, let's do it.
Undefeated now 4-0, Alan Stewart, ladies and gentlemen.